Hello again and welcome back to the Tucked Guesser. I'm Shar Cooterie. I'm here with
Kenzie Blackheart.
And we are here doing the reviews of outfits, reviews of performances, and most importantly, figuring out who's who and who's behind the mask for Series 2 of The Masked Singer. We're going to jump straight into it with, for me, the campest outfit all season,
100%.
Harlequin.
100%. That outfit was camp.
It's pure drag. I love it so much.
In fact, the size of that skirt, you could probably camp in it. It's that camp.
Maybe when we find out who it is, we will be pitching a tent. Who knows?
Well, you never know with this show. You never know.
First impressions of Harlequin.
I thought they was very confident, which I liked. But even though in the clue package they said they wasn't, and that didn't come across, I think.
I think the specific thing was they said you might have to push them on stage because it might be scary. So it could be someone who is a performer but doesn't do that live performance thing, isn't used to performing to a live audience. It was really laboured the point. Harlequins historically are comedy, and then they said they're a clown, they said they're a joker. So it is, for me, it's got to be a woman in comedy. I wasn't sure about the breaking news. There was a newspaper moment and this idea of tabloids. And for me, maybe I would take that to be current affairs. My guess at the moment, again, I think maybe I'm overestimating the ITV casting team. I think it's Whoopi Goldberg.
I don't think it is Whoopi Goldberg, but I would love it if it was.
I would love it if it was as well. The reason I think it's Whoopi Goldberg is there's a couple of clues. So with that paper tied in, so I'm taking that to mean current affairs on hot topics. Whoopi Goldberg is a regular on The View in the States, which is a daily show that sort of covers anything and everything. She's also got this history in comedy, is an iconic comedian and actress. So the British accent, which would have to be false, could be doable. But the thing that sold it for me particularly is this idea of the post-performance clue, which was they once played the male lead in a musical. Now, Whoopi Goldberg, who has a long history on Broadway, performed in a Stephen Sondheim show called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, in which they played, I think it's Pseudolus. They played the lead character. This part had been played by Zira Mostel, had been played by Nathan Lane, and then Whoopi Goldberg was the next person to take it on. And it was this huge deal that she was playing this part. And that's all I've got, really. I don't think the voice is a million miles away from how I might imagine Whoopi to sing. I imagine she could have agreed to do it to help promote Sister Act when the theatres reopen.
I know, you're about to trigger me because we was meant to see that last year, and then Miss Rona said nope. Well, the guesses that I've got are Tamika Rebson from EastEnders, who is quite a fun personality, and I think it sounds like her, to be honest.
And she started in Three Non-Blondes.
And the other guest that I've got is Gabrielle. The bit that I think about Gabrielle that does it for me is that there's an article online in which she talks about stage fright, and it was literally the words, she hates performing and she has to get pushed on the stage.
Okay.
And when she's on there, she has a great time. But it was those words, she has to get pushed on, which was used in the clue package itself.
Yeah, well, they said you might have to push me on stage, and I think it was very deliberate.
Yeah,
the wording, and I mean, I could absolutely see it being Gabrielle. I think she's the sort of name that would be. I find with this show, a lot of people that they book, you watch it, and you go, oh yeah, great, oh yeah, I love them, and then you go back and listen to all their stuff that you've not listened to for a little while.
Yeah.
So I can absolutely see that. I suppose for me, I wasn't getting Gabrielle from the clue package. I can hear it, but beyond that line, there wasn't much in it for me. Harlequin was up against Blob, yes.
Next one was Blob. I've only got one guess for this, and I'm determined I know who it is.
100%.
Lenny Henry.
There were a number of clues. Let's be real. You didn't need to watch the clue package to figure out it was Lenny Henry.
No.
It's so evident when he's singing, and it's wonderful because I love Lenny Henry.
Yeah.
But in terms of the clue package, after I heard the voice, I went back because I know there was something in there that I needed to see. And I went back to the school board where the alphabet was. And I even knew what I was looking for. And I went, I guarantee you, I'm going to look at the letters R and N, and that will settle it. And sure enough, the letter R, the word next to R is red, and the word next to N is nose. Lenny Henry obviously was fundamental in establishing comic relief, pretty much founded it. So between that, the idea of children's TV, Tis Was, that sort of thing, and it just being Lenny Henry.
The voice alone, that's all you need to go on. But if we're talking about the clue package, the school, Lenny Henry was in a show called Hope and Glory, which was a drama set in a school. Straight away, we've got a nice guess there. And the thing about Four Eyes, going back to Tis Was, he used to do an impression of Sir Trevor McDonald in which he would wear absolutely huge glasses.
Yeah, I think bang to rights. I think done and dusted, Blob is Lenny Henry.
So that then brings us on to, again, another unfortunate elimination of a professional singer, which was Seahorse.
Seahorse's outfit was camp through the roof, and I loved it.
I'm going to say it now. Seahorse, for me, costume of the series.
Oh,
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
I suppose I've been spoilt, though, because the US season just had a Seahorse on.
Yeah.
But that outfit, for me, was prettier than the Seahorse we had, which is why I can't give it outfit of the season. For me, outfit of the season stays with Robin.
I mean, Robin does have a really good one as well. Those gold sequin trousers and the feather detail on the front, absolutely gorgeous.
I think for me, the reason I say Robin is I would wear, if you took the mask off, I'd still wear that whole outfit.
Yeah.
And just be like, yeah, this is a look. Whereas, I mean, Blob looks like a bunch of chewing gum, which I kind of love and kind of hate.
I mean, Blob's costume, it does what it says on the tin. The elimination of Seahorse revealed it to be the iconic Mel B. Did you get it right?
I did, and I was very pleased with myself. However, I will be honest, I only settled on that guess when everyone was making their final guesses on the show as well. So when someone finally mentioned Mel B, I was like, oh my God, that's it. I'm going with that.
Yeah.
Up until that point, I had Mel B and actually somehow Mel C both written down, as well as Kerry Katona. And I was veering towards Kerry Katona, but I couldn't make all of the clues fit. So I got it very last minute, let's say that. How about you?
I did not get it at all. I just couldn't get it for some reason. The guesses I wrote down were Debbie McGee and Ada Williams. Because for some reason I thought it was an American accent. But yeah, also the bit about the daytime talk show, obviously Ada does Loose Women.
Yeah.
And, you know, there was the bit about the northern accent, and I've just thought maybe Ada's kind of learned how to put that on through being married to Robbie Williams. So that was where I went with that, but alas, I was completely wrong. Did not get it at all.
Well, I said Trini for the other ones. Don't worry about it.
Well, at least
I said Trini for Alien. Yeah, 1-0. Now Seahorse went up against Viking, who it's another one. I'm like 9.5 tenths. I'm 95% sure I know who this is.
Yeah.
Actually, thinking about it, one of my favourite costumes, because it's just silly and I love it. I think it's very silly and fun.
The costume of Viking, I'm going to go a little bit niche here, I know, but it reminds me of one of the most recent Pokemon called Berserker. It's literally like that. I don't know what came first, the Viking or the Berserker.
So, I have gone with... I mean, the voice was gorgeous.
Oh my God.
And it threw me completely. Because I think the idea with Viking, and I think much as Jonathan Ross's guesses, I was kind of glad when Ken Jeong wasn't able to come back, because if you're going to be on the panel, try and play the game. And it feels like Mo Gilligan's joined to replace Ken Jeong, and Jonathan Ross has gone, oh, well, we need someone to just say nonsense.
Yeah, exactly.
But I did agree with him that I was expecting, like, rock. I was expecting, like, this big, brash, shouty voice. But then that's sort of the joy of it. We weren't expecting a female sausage. So for the Viking to sing Songbird was a surprise anyway.
Yeah.
I've gone with, and this is a bit of an a dated one, maybe, at least for the UK, Morten Harket of Aha.
I've gone the same.
There were a number of things that sort of tied it in. Now, immediately you've got mountains and this Nordic-looking background, which would tie into the Viking in and of itself anyway. It starts on a mountain, and then we see the words King's Rock. Now, Morten Harket comes from a town called Kongsberg, which translates as King's Mountain. He's Norwegian, which again would mean there might be this. They always talk about why they picked the outfit or why the outfit was right for them. This idea, this affinity for Viking and Norse culture and that sort of thing. And the voice. I mean, there aren't many singers about with that sort of strength in their upper register.
Oh, absolutely. It's Morten Harket has got, I think, one of the highest notes in a charting pop song in Take Me On. So,
yeah. Well, and we've all tried it. We've all tried to sing it.
We've all tried it, and then all the dogs in the area start barking, and all the cats, start running away. So, I mean, we've all tried it, but not everyone can do it.
The only thing I'm trying to make sense of, and so I might actually go on there were a couple of clues that have thrown me, but I think it's more about, the other thing. He said about looking for a voice, and he is a judge on The Voice Norway.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether that's also sort of to aid it. The things that didn't make sense for me yet are he wears another kind of armor, or he wears another kind of armor. So I want to actually look into what his name means, and just the repetition of the word curious.
Well, we actually did a little bit of research ourselves last night. So Morten Harket, he's got the award for the Knight of Norwegian Music from the King of Norway, something or the other. So it's that Knight of Music award, which I would assume is the armour.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I sort of picked up on last night, which I didn't initially, was that obviously like the curious and all that, but there was also talk about, discovering, exploring. And to me, that in my mind just went, well, what do you say after you've discovered something? You normally say, aha.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, I really hope that's right. Because that would also end, the curious and aha. I love that. I hope it's right, because it's gonna be very strange to explain that if it's like Ben Fogel.
I know. If it is anyone else other than Morten Harket should be worried, because they're coming for his gig.
They're coming for the gig, absolutely.
So then we had Bush Bailey, and I'm not going to lie, not my favourite costume of the series.
I hate it. I don't know why, but there's just something about... I suppose I don't like the infantilization of it, I suppose. I get it's like, it's a baby and a bush baby. Oh, how fun. This is the only one of the whole season for which I have so many guesses, it's fairer to say that I've got no clue. It's such a wide variety of things thrown at you in that clue package. It's either someone who they haven't got much to go on, or it's someone huge who they want to keep in for as long as possible.
Yeah, it could be.
Because with this show, the thing with The Masked Singer is it's not always the best singer who progresses.
Oh,
sometimes it's the best character or the best mystery or the weakest performer of the night, I would suggest.
I would say the same.
And maybe of the season.
Literally the only guest that I've got for Bush Baby is John Turode of MasterChef fame.
He's the one who doesn't like the buttery biscuit base, isn't he?
I believe so, yes.
I think it's Greg Wallace who likes the biscuit base, buttery biscuit base. I literally only know him from MasterChef. And when he's sort of doing cooking on other stuff.
The only thing that I could find about John to Road, which was a connection to the clue package, was the bit where there was the magic hat and the food. Obviously, the food, MasterChef. But with the magic, John to Road and Greg Wallace both appeared on a show called The Magicians.
Okay.
I can't remember what year it was, but they both took part in some magic act where they were walking down the side of a building. So that's literally the only other connection I can make.
Was that a reality show? Was that a bunch of celebs or?
I'm not too sure.
Because they also said it's not their first competition.
Yeah.
Now the only thing close to a guess that I've got, and again I'm very much clutching at straws here. I've written Joe Pasquale, and I'll tell you why, and then I'll fully acknowledge that it's all dribble.
Okay.
So they talk about nightlife and this idea of being nocturnal and cheeky and mischievous, and stand-up comedy lends itself to that description. Joe Pasquale has done magic, so it might be that magic thing was in there to show, oh, well, magic is involved somehow, but not very good. That's why I asked about the show The Magicians. If it was a competition show and they got knocked out, then that would make sense as well, that they weren't good at magic. The Fez, I'm aware, like I feel like Joe Pasquale has done acts inspired by Tommy Cooper. Tommy Cooper and Matt Smith as the Doctor are the only people who I think of when I think of a Fez.
That and the now cancelled Danny Baker.
Oh God, could you imagine?
I know.
It's not going to be him.
I hope not.
What I can say confidently, the other thing with the Australian connection and the Bush Baby, not their first competition, is Joe Pasquale obviously won I'm a Celeb, but they said a lot of their wardrobe has been seen on screen. And I don't know what that means.
No, me neither.
Because it could be, like, the cryptic part of it is maybe there is something to do with a wardrobe, a physical wardrobe, rather than a collection of clothes. But I don't know. All I'm confident of is that they are not Australian.
I think Bush Baby's going to be one of those where the guest is going to have to go on for a little while longer.
Yeah. They went up against, however, someone I think I've got banged to rights, which was the Grandfather Clock.
Yeah.
Where are you at with Old Father Time?
So with Grandfather Clock, I'm between Vinnie Jones and Bradley Walsh.
Okay. I hear Bradley Walsh in the singing. However, I've crossed out Vinnie Jones after more research today, and I'm going with Glenn Hoddle.
Okay.
Glenn Hoddle. So the reasons for which are this. The thing that stood out to me in the clue package is actually they talked about the idea of time running out and appreciating when. So I'd settled on it has to be someone who's had a health scare recently.
Yeah.
Glenn Hoddle had a heart attack in 2019 and has written, done a lot of interviews and written a lot of pieces about the idea of sort of what impact that had on his life. He played for Spurs. He used to play for Spurs, and we saw those cowboy boots in the Three Lions lends itself again to footballer. And then the other thing was he said, I am a grandfather clock. It could have been clock. I am a clock, but it's grandfather clock. And I think that does suggest a man of a certain age. And Glenn Hoddle does have, in the grand scheme of things, is a recent grandfather. He's got two grandchildren who are turning 4 this year. So for me, although I've never heard him sing, I think it's Glenn Hoddle.
My issue is with like a lot of the potential sports stars on this show is that I don't have a clue who anyone is. I could literally.
I looked up. I'll be honest. I googled Tottenham Hotspur's health scare.
Yeah.
And his name came up, and so then I did further reading, and I was like, aha, okay, maybe it's this man I've never seen.
I mean, that is a good guess. I might have to do a bit more reading into Glenn Hoddle, which will be unusual for me, having to look up anything about football. I think my dad will be proud of me. The actual costume for Grandfather Clock, I think that was quite whimsical. That was fun.
Yeah, it's cute. For me, I was like, that I need to see in a panto somewhere. It was it's such a lovely outfit. The other thing, going back to Vinnie Jones, however, lifelong Spurs fan, so it could also make sense for him. And I know that he's released music, and he is a surprisingly good singer.
Yeah.
So it could very much work for him. That said, I'm aware that he did Celebrity X Factor a year ago, 2 years ago. I think he had to pull out of that. I don't know whether that was because of a health issue.
I believe that, if I remember correctly, it was something about his wife.
Yes.
Again, it could be someone else's health scare.
Yeah. I think we can say, well, with relative confidence, it's someone football or a footballer or football adjacent.
Yeah, it's someone to do with football.
Just to keep the straights interested. Who was your performance of the night?
Even though they were eliminated, my performance of the night was actually Seahorse. Because the moment that Can't Get You Out of My Head started playing, I was like, shoot, love that song. And I thought they did really well at it.
I thought they did a great job. And I think it was a shame to see them eliminated, especially with Bush Baby still in.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
My
performance of the night, so my look of the night for this episode was Seahorse. I agree with you there. Although Harlequin, camp AF, and I adore.
Absolutely.
I think for me, I think Viking had the best performance. Maybe that was surprise factor, but it was just nice. It was lovely.
Oh yeah, Viking as well. Absolutely beautiful.
And who out of the remaining are you picturing going the furthest in the whole show? Who's the most likely winner here? I think the first week had the winner. I don't know who it will be out of the 3 or 4 that I think it could be. I don't see a winner in this 6.
No, I think week 1 has the winner, but if there is any from week 2 to make the final, I would say it would probably be Viking.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I think just because of who it is, maybe Blob will do all right. But I think we'll probably lose Bush Baby and Clocks sooner rather than later, unfortunately.
I agree with you there.
So, coming up next episode, we revisit. So we've got Robin, Swan, Dragon, Sausage, and Badger. These episodes, the sad thing about these shows, these episodes are going to get shorter. Because we're going to have less to talk about.
I know. Our first episode of this, and we're like having to split it into 2. The next one, like down the line, we're just going to have to push out our asses to...
We'll just hop on and go, Robin was good, weren't they? Yeah, all right then.
Yeah, like a couple of blokes down the pub, just...
All right.
Yeah. How's the life? Yeah.
Well, I guess there's not much else to do but sign off.
No, until next week. And I'm sure we'll also find a few fun things to throw in. Oh, where can they find you, Shar? Online?
Anywhere, pretty much anywhere. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Shar Cooterie, SharCooterie.
Lovely. And of course, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, which you're doing right now, at Kenzie Blackheart. So please go and follow both of us and join in on the conversation on whatever platform you choose.
Send us your guesses.
Yes, please do. We need help.
Well, that's it from the Tucked Guesser for now, but we will see you next week.
Until then, bye-bye.
Bye!